Okay, good morning, students. Previously, the yesterday topic we have completed successfully. What are the structures of kidney, external and internal features of the kidney? Okay, so the structural and functional units of kidney is called as the nephron. Okay, so today in this class, we people are going to discuss about urine formation. That is called as mechanism of urine formation. Urine formation or mechanism of urine formation. How the urine is formed within the part of the nephrons. You know very well this is also called as structural and functional unit of kidney. Okay, this is the structure of the nephron. Clear? So there are millions of nephrons together function, and finally a particular task is commonly called urine formation is takes place by the structures of this particular nephrons itself now. Clear? So how the urine is formation? That is called as mechanism of urine formation. This is very important question also to you. Clear? There are four major steps present in the mechanism of urine formation. Okay, clear it is. First one, glomerular filtration. Okay, second one, tubular reabsorption. Third one, tubular secretion. Last one, concentration of urine or urine concentration. Okay, clear. There are four main steps are present in this urine formation. First one, glomerular filtration, tubular reabsorption, tubular secretion, and concentration of urine. So already you know very well clearly what is the structure of the nephron. Just once again, glomerulus, Bowman's capsule. These two together called as Malpighian body or Malpighian capsule or renal capsule, simply called renal capsule or Malpighian body. This is the remaining part. Except that particular one, the remaining complete part is commonly called as renal tubules. Renal tubules. Okay, Malpighian capsule of Malpighian body or renal capsule or renal tubules. These two together commonly called as complete formation of the nephron itself now. Okay. The Bowman's capsule opens into a cup is common cup shaped structure called PCT. After the couplet structure, PCT opens into the next part is called as Henle's loop. Next one, DCT opens into collecting duct or collecting tubules. Clear? See, listen. This is called as efferent arteriole. This is called as efferent arteriole. You know clearly, the diameter of the efferent arteriole is something broader. The diameter of the efferent arteriole is something narrow. With comparing the efferent arteriole, pronunciation of these two is common. AFFERNT efferent arteriole, EFFERNT efferent arteriole. Clear itself now. Okay. So first of all, the renal artery, okay, also divides as a small part is commonly called as efferent arteriole. Opens into the Bowman's capsule, a blind cup-shaped structure called as Bowman's capsule. Okay, efferent arteriole, the broader width of efferent arteriole opens or enters into the Bowman's capsule. This can also forms the bunch of blood capillaries, which is commonly called as glomerulus. Which is called as glomerulus. Okay, so now the blood is passed from the efferent arteriole into the complete part is commonly called as glomerulus. Due to the narrowness of efferent arteriole, okay, there is a great pressure is created within the part of the glomerulus. First one, how the glomerular filtration is taken place. Okay, so there is a great pressure. Okay, great pressure is created within the part of the glomerulus. This particular filtration is commonly called as ultrafiltration. Due to the narrowness of efferent arteriole, there is a great pressure is created within the part of the glomerulus. On the part is called as Bowman's capsule. Okay, you know clearly on the base part of the Bowman's capsule, on the base part of the Bowman's capsule, single layer of squamous epithelial cells are present, which are also commonly called as podocyte cells. These are called as podocytes. These podocyte cells has minute gaps. A tiny and microscopic gaps are present in base part of the Bowman's capsule. Okay, so due to the ultrafiltration by created by the glomerulus, this filtrate can greatly enters into the Bowman's capsule. This particular filtration is commonly called as ultrafiltration. Okay, the components what are present in the glomerulus, which carries by the blood itself now. Okay, completely filters within the part of the Bowman's capsule. All the materials, all the materials present in the blood is filtered directly into the Bowman's capsule, but except RBC. RBC and blood cells, especially the blood cells, can retain within the part of the blood itself now. Of course, all the materials are completely filtered within the part of the Bowman's capsule. This is commonly called as primary urine. That is called as primary urine. This primary urine contains the components like waste molecules, nutrient molecules, and water. These are the components are present in the primary urine. Due to the ultrafiltration, due to the great pressure created by this glomerulus, the sum of the components, which are commonly called as the primary urine, is filtered within the part of the Bowman's capsule. This part one, this is commonly called as glomerular filtration. Glomerulus can filter the components into the Bowman's capsule. Okay, what components are enters into the Bowman's capsule now? Waste molecules, nutrient molecules, and water molecules, which are entered into the Bowman's capsule, which is commonly called as first step is called as glomerular filtration. Clear? Second one, tubular reabsorption. How it is taken place? Do you know clearly? The entire part of the renal tubules, okay, is completely surrounded by peritubular capillaries. Peritubular network. The peritubular network is completely surrounded PCT, Henle loop, and including the DCT also. Okay. So the peritubular capillaries can receive the primary urine. Of course, the PCT can receive the primary urine. Within the part of the primary urine, some of the components are reabsorbed. Some components which are presenting in the primary urine, which are useful to the body, they can automatically reabsorb. Here, the arrow marks are indicated from the PCT to peritubular capillary. PCT to peritubular capillary. Okay, these components. Okay, what kind of components are reabsorbed? Here, glucose. Okay, amino acids, vitamin C, sodium, potassium, chlorides, calcium, and also some amount of chlorides. Okay, these components are reabsorbed, which are reabsorbing from the peritubular capillaries into, PCT into peritubular capillaries. Okay, so these components are completely absorbed within the part of the from PCT to peritubular capillaries. This particular step is commonly called as tubular reabsorption, and including this, along with these components, 75% of water also. 75% of water also reabsorbed from the PCT to peritubular capillaries. Peritubular capillaries. This step is commonly called as tubular reabsorption. Okay. After entry, the remaining components are completely transported and passing from the PCT to Henle's loop. Here, 10% of water molecules. 10% of water molecules are reabsorbed once again within the part of the Henle's loop, and the remaining components are completely transported into the next part is commonly called as DCT, also commonly called distal convoluted tubules. Distal convoluted tubule, also known as second convoluted tubules. This is commonly called first convoluted tubules. Proximal or first, distal or second. What kind of step is going on within the part of the tubular secretion? This step is slightly reverse with comparing the first step. For example, from the tubular reabsorption. This is commonly called as tubular secretion. Here in the tubular reabsorption, the materials from the PCT to enter into the peritubular capillaries. At the same time, the components which are useful to the body, once again, they can be reabsorbed, they can be secreted. Unnecessary one. Okay, this can be also secreted. For example, from this particular peritubular capillaries, they can secrete within the part of the DCT. These are mostly unnecessary components. Okay, which are secreted within the part of the DCT. These are mostly called urine, that is commonly called as urea, creatinine. Okay, urea, creatinine, nitrogenous compounds, nitrogenous wastes. Okay, salt ions, salt ions like K plus, Na plus, and H plus ions. Clear it is. Some of the unnecessary components, of course, urea and remaining uric acid also. These are completely commonly called as nitrogenous waste materials. Urea and creatinine, some kinds of salt ions, which are completely not necessary for the body, means excess amount of ions. Those are completely secreted within the part of the peritubular capillaries into DCT. Some salt ions like K plus, Na plus, and H plus ions will secreted within the part of the DCT itself. Now, one more thing, within the part of the DCT, concentration of urine. Urine concentration also takes place within the part of the DCT. One more thing, a small kind of secretion also takes place in the PCT also. A little bit amount of secretion also takes place in the part of the PCT. And the major part of the secretion, which the molecules are unnecessary to the body, which are secreted into the DCT now. Okay. Plus one more thing, concentration of urine. This can be occurred by the last step is called as concentration of urine. This is the last step. How it is possible means the molecules what are enters into the DCT, they can completely enters into the next part is commonly called as collecting duct. The walls of the DCT secrete a kind of a hormone that is commonly called as vasopressin. Vasopressin. Do you know what is called vasopressin? Vasopressin is a kind of a hormone which secreted within the part of the DCT, which also useful to the formation of urine, that is commonly called concentration of urine. Okay, urine concentration and also the pH of urine. Concentration of urine and pH of urine. These two steps also takes place in the part of the DCT, that is in the step of the concentration of urine. Clear? So for example, what is the use of the vasopressin? When the complete concentrated urine is secreted to be passed out, in this particular time, vasopressin is released to dilute the urine itself now. When a person secretes the concentrated urine, when due to the shortage of water molecules in the body intake, in that particular time, vasopressin is released to dilute the urine itself now. So, this particular vasopressin is not at all released. No need to release. When the persons are taking more amount of fluid materials or liquid molecule or liquid materials, for example, when the person is taking more consuming of more amount of water itself now, the person, those who are not taking more amount of water, in that particular time, the vasopressin hormone is released more amounts. Okay, due to lack of the vasopressin, okay, that particular condition is commonly called as diabetes insipidus. Diabetes insipidus. Do you know one more thing? Diabetes mellitus also one more kind of disease, one more kind of disorder. That is due to the lack of insufficient secretion of insulin. That will be discussed later. This is called diabetes insipidus. In Telugu, Atimutra Vyadi. Do you know clear? So, in this particular diabetes insipidus, the person secretes repeated urine, diluted urine, excessive amount of urine. I understand clearly. Due to the lack of vasopressin secretion, the person secrete diluted, repeated, and continuous urination. Such a condition is commonly called as diabetes insipidus. Due to lack of the hormone is called as vasopressin. When a person is consuming more amount of water or liquid materials, the hormone secretion of vasopressin is automatically suppressed, automatically can control now. Clear it is. So this kind of step is taken place in the concentration of urine, the fourth step now. Okay. This is the formation of urine, mechanism of urine formation, glomerular filtration, tubular reabsorption, tubular secretion, and also the concentration of urine. Okay. Next, so the material what is passed from DCT to next step is commonly called as collecting duct. Collecting duct. The collecting duct opens. This is the part is commonly called as pelvis part. I mean open to pelvis. Open to pelvis. Okay. The next part, after the formation of urine, there are some more organs are still present here. Now, these are ureters, okay, urinary bladder, and urethra. Okay, see here. So, this is the part of the pelvic region. This part is called as hilus. The depression part, the concave side of the kidney is commonly called as hilus. This is also connecting with pelvis. Pelvis and hilus also same present in the same region. Clearly now. Okay, number of collecting ducts. Okay, number of collecting ducts opens. All the collecting ducts opens here from each and every pyramid now. So, for example, here this is the pyramid-like structure. Okay, from here each and every nephrons are opens. Ending of the nephron is opens to here. Ending of the nephron is opens to here. Okay, all the pelvic, all the collecting ducts are opens into the part is called as pelvis. All these tubes are opens directly into the next part is commonly called as ureters. Respectively to the two kidneys also. What is the structure of the ureters? Okay, ureters are a long, see here, those are the long, narrow, distensible, okay, whitish, muscular. These are the features of the ureters. One more thing, the length of the ureters is nearly by 30 centimeters. Means the long scale what we are using our classroom itself now. Clear? So from the hilus part onwards, from here onwards, this is starting and ending with and opens into the urinary bladder. The total length of the ureter is 30 centimeters. Of course, either left and right. Left and 31 and right and 31. Clear itself now. So these are the long, narrow tube, distensible. Distensible means which from the starting to ending is also complete length long. And the color is whitish and muscular. A muscular movement is also present in this particular ureters. One more thing, the formation of urine, the urine formed which are present in this one, that is completely running or travels through the particular tube and opens and stored in the separate part is commonly called as urinary bladder. The movement of urine in the ureter is a peristalsis. Do you know what is the movement of the peristalsis? It's like a wave-like movement. Clear? So peristaltic movement is also taken place. There is no particular function is also taken place in the ureters. Ureter is the median. Okay, it is a connection between the kidney to urinary bladder itself. Now, clear? Next part is called as urinary bladder. Urinary bladder is pear shaped, inverted pear shape. Do you know what is called pear? A kind of a fruit. It is looking like a guava, but the shape is like a pear. This like one. So here this is the pear shape, inverted pear shape like structure. Of course, approximately the shape of the heart is also like a pear. Clear now? The pear shaped urinary bladder. Urinary bladder is the storage tank, a storage sac for the urine itself now. Clear? So the total storage capacity of the urinary bladder is nearly 300 to 800 ml. Total urine storage capacity of the urinary bladder is nearly 300 to 800 ml. Okay. Next one. This particular pear shaped one, when it is completely filled with the urine, when it is completely filled with the urine, the muscles present in this one can automatically get be contracted. Contracted. Okay. So then the urine is to be completely controlled now here. Whereas the urinary bladder is present after the ending of the ureters. This is presenting in the pelvic region of the males. Of course, in the females also. Urinary bladder is presenting in the pelvic region of the body. Okay. So when the bladder, this is the urinary bladder, the last part is commonly called as urethra. Urethra, the ending part of the one, this is commonly called as urinary bladder. This is ureters. This is commonly called as urethra. This is opens to out. Clear now? Urethra means it is a terminal region which can also be used for releasing of urine. Clear? So the urethra is a separate in both males and females. So for example, in females, the length of the urethra is only by 4 centimeters. Whereas in the males, the length of the urethra is nearly by 20 centimeters. One more thing. So in the females, vaginal tube, urethra and anal tubes, these three are completely separates. But whereas in the males, except the anal one, whereas the urethra is the common for both for transportation of both sperm cells and also the urine. That's why in males, the urethra is also commonly called as urinogenital duct. Urinogenital duct. This is the common name is given for the urethra in males especially because why it is saying this now? This is can also the urethra can also passes the urine and also the sperm cells. That's why this is the common for urine and also for the sperm cell. The length of the one is nearly 20 centimeters because it is running through the penis itself now. Okay. So until then, the urethra is clear. So one more thing. Last but not least, at the ending of the urethra, there are two sphincter muscles are present. This can be comes under the next part is commonly called as micturition. Micturition means passing out urine to out is called as micturition. Taking the food materials into the body is called as ingestion. Releasing the excess fecal matter into the body out is from the body to out is called as defecation. Releasing out excess amount of nitrogenous compounds that is commonly called urine from the body to out is called as micturition. Okay, how the process of micturition is going on? See, listen. But the total capacity of the urinary bladder is nearly 300 to 800 ml. When the bladder is filling up with nearly 300 to 400 ml, there might be a small contraction takes place. So here two kinds of muscles are present here at the ending of the urethra. Okay, this the upper sphincter muscle. This is commonly called as upper sphincter muscle and lower sphincter muscle. Upper sphincter muscle and lower sphincter muscle. When the bladder is filled up with the urine material, these two muscles get contracted. That's why the urine can be completely retained in the bladder itself now. Okay. So when it is to be completely fulfilled, there might be a small painful sensation is taken place. At that particular time, the upper sphincter muscle gets relaxed. At the same time, the lower sphincter muscle is completely under the control of the brain itself now. Do you know what is called reflex action? See here, reflex action, a sudden and involuntary action which can save us from the dangerous stimulus. Reflex means these are not in our control. These are mostly under the control of the autonomous nervous system. Are you understand? So clear? So the upper sphincter muscle gets relaxed due to the action of reflex action, involuntary action. But the lower sphincter muscle is completely under control of the brain itself now. When the person would like to release the urine, that is called urge for micturition. Okay, then that is under control by the brain itself. That is completely mostly controlled by the central nervous system. When the brain can gives the messages to the particular sphincter muscle, they can automatically release the urine itself now. This can be gradually learned by the from the small children also. Whereas in the small kids, these two muscles also gets worked under reflex action. They can't control the pass the urine itself now. When the child is grows up, the lower sphincter muscle get automatically under control by the brain itself now. Clear it is? So when the lower sphincter muscle also gets relaxed, the urine is to be passed out. Okay. So when the filling up nearly 700 to 800 ml, this is the maximum capacity. Okay. So per day, a healthy person can release approximately 1.6 to 1.8 liters of urine per day. A healthy person can also secrete nearly 1.6 to 1.8 liters of urine per day. This particular content may automatically changes from the season to season, from the time to time. Okay, but mostly in the during the winter seasons and the climate is cold, that particular percent may increase. During the severe summer season, the particular percentage may automatically decreases now. But in the average condition, 1.6 to 1.8 liters of urine can be released from the body to out. So whatever it may be, the nitrogenous compounds from the body to releasing to out, this is commonly called as urination. So mechanism of urine formation involves the four steps now. After the complete formation of the urine, they can also be passed into the ureters, urinary bladder, and urethra. Last one, releasing to out, that complete process commonly called as maturation. Okay. So what are the remaining components? One more thing, last, still small point here. When the person's age crosses the 40 years, after the completion of 40 years, for every 10 years, okay, the capacity, I mean, that is commonly called the ability of the nephrons decreasing by every 10 years by 10 percentage. By every 10 years. So, for example, after 40 years, so for example, when the 40 to 50 years, when a person is reaching the 50 years, 10 percentage of the nephron percentage ability is automatically decreases. By the 60 years, 20 percentage of the nephron ability is automatically decreases. I understand clearly? After the 40 years, for every 10 years, 10 percentage of the nephron ability or capacity is automatically decreases. Means the urination problem might be also caused for the persons. But this can be considered from the person to person. That can be changed from the person to person depending upon the health issues automatically. Clear it is? Okay, what are the remaining components of urine? We will discuss later in the coming topic. Okay, thank you.